Well, afternoon, everybody. It seems a bit bare, doesn't it, that, without my board behind it. It's still downstairs. I haven't unpacked my box yet from Monday, but that's okay. It's all fine. We're here now. We've got a tile, and that's all that matters. So, hope everybody's okay. Today, the sun is shining here at Sanntangle HQ, and yeah, it's kind of warm, I must admit, considering it's the middle of January, but never mind. Here we go. What we're going to be doing today, number 208. So what have I got? I've got my regular towel. I've got one of the sorbet ones just because I could, because they're really nice. And I've gone with a pink one, but of course I've added a little bit of ink into it. So all I've done with this, I've used the water-based pens, of course, and then I've just added a bit to a bag, spritzed it, and then stuck my tile in. And of course I've got a nice sort of subtle pink effect, but I love this here. It's really pretty. So this is where I'm going to start my my bit of my tile. So it's sort of going to be, let's have a look at my, yeah, going to be there. So I quite like this one. Oh, hello, Julie. Nice to see you again. Hope you're well. Hello, everybody. It's, if I go through all the names, we'd never get any tangling done, would we? But not to worry. Here we go then. So I'm going to start with what I've got. I've got pencil, my regular, I've got an O1 pen, I've got a tortillon, and I've got a white pastel chalky pencil. So let's see where this is going to take us. All right, deep breath in. Okay. Oh, I'm going to start with the border. Now, of course, if you've got the frames, then you can use that. But I'm going to make it quite a wide border today, just to be a little bit awkward, and just because I can. There we are. So I'm going to come around with pencil, and of course, any of this that we don't need a little bit later, I'll go around in pen. And it's yeah, sort of about right there. Doesn't matter if it's not quite or it doesn't quite measure up. It's just a guide. There we go. All right, so it's quite a wide border. I'll just rub out that pencil mark I've just done. Okay. And I'm actually going to start in this corner because I've got a little bit of sort of a space tangle here, so it'd be nice to sort of keep that if I can. Good morning, Bonnie. Goodness me. It's lovely to sort of hear from you. Okay. Are we ready then? All right, I'm going to go a bit larger. Just love how that's worked. Anyway, okay. First of all then, oh, hang on a second. I'm going to take my watch off because we know that it starts ticking and clunking on the desk. All right. Oh, okay. So, I'm going to start with a curve. I'm going to come from the point there, bring a curve in. See, not too small, but it's not completely overpowering the page. And then back down. All right, I'm just going to fill that space in. Now, if you've got a thicker pen, you can go in and do that with a thicker pen if you like, but you don't have to. And then I'm going to come up and put a little bubble on the end. Oh, I'm glad that you like the new grids. I think it's a really nice little kit, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to come from the bubble there, I'm going to come up and round to a point. And the same here, see I'm following this shape here. I'm going to allow that to give me that sort of takeoff that I need. Going to a point there. Okay. And then I'm going to do another one here. So let's go up this way. Now you notice, see I've gone out of the border there. But that's okay, it's done in pencil so we can rub out any bits we don't need later. Or I'm going to ink mine in, I think. That was my plan. See how it goes. And then another one this side. There you go, a little bubble. Kind of shout out as well to Rose, who won all the cards that Charlie gave away on his Facebook page. I don't know when he did that. Was that Monday or Tuesday? But yeah, it's just nice actually that somebody that we know won them. There we go. Just putting another one there in the background. Okay. I know, Mum, this leaf is lovely, isn't it? It's one of those just, what, you know, sort of ones that want to just do their own thing. There we go. I think while we're here, see, I've got this little space here. I'm just going to fill it with some little swirls there. And maybe one there, see. And of course, just, there you go, a bit bigger with that one. Let's work it round. And the same there. Okay, I'm going to just bring that border in there with a pen. So now we went round and out there. That's about it. Okay, so that's our first little bit. So we, that's what I'm getting. I don't need that little bit of a pencil border anymore. There you go, love it. And because I've managed to save this little bit of an inking, I'm liking that. Okay. So, next bit then, let's have a look. I'm going to sort of zoom out so you can see the tile and in the context. There we are. And I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start here. I'm going to come up and around and stop there. And then bring it back down to the point. And same from the other direction now, up, underneath, bring in that swirl, and then I'm going to come round and back down. There we go. So let's do something similar here. I'm going to come from this sort of side. I'm going to go a little bit bigger round here and a bit of a curve. Okay. And then back down. You see, I think I take it slower coming back down. It's a nice way to do it. See, that tends to be quite a quick swoop. That's not too bad. And then as I'm sort of creating that aura, I'm just going to slow it down a bit. Okay. Alright, so look, maybe, just think coming out of here, I'm going to create a similar but not quite the same. So same up as before. And then I'm going to come round, you see, make a little hook shape. And then round and down, and again just sort of follow that for a shape. Okay, and okay, I'm going to do another one of those, but I'm not going to cross this one. I'm just going to bring it in a little bit further up there and back down again. Okay, so I might do a little one here. See, going out of that border, it's nice that we have a few that just sort of want to be a little bit freer. And then of course I'm going to go in and around for another. There we go. Okay, so a few little swirly bits there. Let's have a look at these little areas on the inside. So where I've got these two crossing over, I did that on purpose because I wanted to add in some little curved lines. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of drama going on in these. And then same with this one here. And you could go as wide or as narrow as you want to go with these. I've got quite a nice space there, I think. And I'm just going to bring in my brush. Just going to, doesn't matter where you start or which ones you actually fill in. I'm going to fill in from there upwards. Just getting that little corner there and then back around. And in there. Okay. And then same with this one. I must admit, time's a little bit fuzzy for me today. We were at the office here this morning at 5:30. It's been one of those nights, I think. So we thought, well, let's get up and get in there. So we've been packing parcels since 5:30 this morning, but that's fine. It does mean that hopefully a lot of you are going to get your parcels, so that'd be quite nice. Okay, let's have a look then. I'm going to start, so I've got a little bit of a gap here. Let's go a little bit bigger. There you go. So I'm going to just bring in a little curve, and then let's do another one, and another one. Of course, that gives me the opportunity to fill that one in. Again, you could bring your thicker pen in there. And I'm going to create some just little loop shapes just along the top there. And then a little sort of a V in the middle. There we go. So, just working my way up into this sort of side here then. And I'm going to bring out a little line and another, then a little curve over the top, and then I'm going to come round and join it. Alright, let's have a look at that then. Oh. Zoom out a little bit, there you go. And I'm on this side. So they just sort of sit in front and behind and in between. Again, I'm just going to have one coming in through here as well. So there we go, maybe one there, so it's sort of following its way around. And then, oh yeah, it's going to just sort of go underneath that one there. And then along here and around. So let's have a look, maybe a few more of those. They just sort of go with the flow, don't they, these? They don't really worry about where they're going or how many you add in. They just sort of do their own thing. Maybe I'm going to put one in just there, so it looks like it's going up and along there. Okay. And again, I'm going to bring my brush in. I'm going to just fill this background in with that ink there. And then quite nice. Just taking my time with it, and of course you don't have to use the brush for this. You can use any thick pen, or you can use a different colour. I think when it's next to that sort of pink, it's nice to. I'm going to leave that bit there. I think just having it. It's nice to have that stark contrast. Oh, Sally, maybe let's have a few of those. Sort of in and around here as well, shall we? I'm going to bring them around this side. Again, just sort of make out that they're coming from behind what's already there. And maybe a couple there. So I'm not trying to sort of represent, you know, like a mirror image of what's already been drawn on the other side. I'm just going to see where it leads. I'm going to overdo it, I think, on this side. Maybe sort of one up here. Now I'm thinking actually that maybe we need to add in a white pen to the mix. Maybe I'll look if I've got one in a minute. I've sort of tidied my desk, but then, you know, as you tidy things and put it away, and then you forget that you needed it. But always the case. All right. So again, I'm just going to fill in these little gaps. Just taking my time. You know, I want to keep those stems, if I can, in that pink sort of ink. I think I used about 3 different pinks actually, and of course a little bit of purple in there just to mix it up, so nice little background. Okay, so let's have another look where we're sort of headed with this. I'm going to bring in one of those little sort of flowers. I can do one here, so let's go in again with sort of 3 little lines there, and of course I'm just going to fill in those little stripes, one there and one there. Okay, and of course that little sort of loop shape, just looping it all the way around, and the same on this one, and a little sort of V type flick shape in between each one there. And that gives me that. Okay. So, next next thing, let's have a look. I'm gonna do a bit of an aura in here. You see where I've got that bit of space? Let's just create a shape in there. All right, following just the lines that I've got in there. I'm not gonna try and duplicate all them, just sort of giving me a little bit of a shape. And let's go a bit larger here. And I'm going to put in a little grid. So first sort of one way, turn it round, and then the next. Okay. And then we might recognise this one. I thought I'd bring this one in. I'm just going to create a diagonal in sort of the middle of each of those little grids there. And then of course I'm just going to come in and draw each one. But as I get to any corner, I'm just going to sort of go round. There you go, and fill the space. So we're getting sort of a heavier line. We're getting this difference between a sharp pointy triangle and a slightly more rounded, I don't know, Quality Street version in the green wrapper. All right, sort of round we go. Okay, so a little bit random. Oh, hi Barbara. No, I think you should give it a go. Absolutely. And Louise, yes, that is in the tile swap. So that particular tangle is in here. Woohoo! Should we do another? Let's have a look. I've got one here, look, bit of a shape. Let's see what we can make of this. So again, I'm just going to come on in and just going to stop it about there. Oh, I can go as far up as I wanted to. I think that's enough, just to do a little bit. And again, let's put this little grid in. Okay, so turn this round, and again, just as before. So I'm going to see where I've got like a box there. I'm going to put a diagonal line across it. So it really doesn't matter if they're a little bit out of skew. Actually, it looks quite nice if they're not exactly level. And then you just sort of draw around each one. So you're getting these kind of roundish shapes going on there. Same around this one. It's building quite nicely, isn't it? There's a lot of different tangles in here. It's nice. Let's have a look at it. Where we are. Oh, Louise, I did have a tile swap this morning in the post. made me think, gosh, I better get on with mine. I haven't done mine yet. But yeah, you see you've got this lovely little sort of filler type tangle in the background there. It looks lovely, doesn't it? So, okay, where are we going to head from there? I think maybe I'm just going to add another one of those little tangles in there. And I'm going to just fill that space. There we go. And then we've got a little bit more to do around here. So far so good. Okay, I think looking at, I've got a space there, look, which is prime for one of those little part curved flowers there. Oh no, come on, time's a ticking. It's only Monday we did it, to be fair. But I'm hoping that, you know, you've all got plenty of ideas for that. Gave you a bit of inspiration, of course, because we've used it before in different tiles. So if you're not sure, you could go back and have a look at those. There we go. All right. I think so. Yeah, the hardest bit is sometimes thinking, what am I going to do, and getting a plan in your head about it. But honestly, that's why, in one sense, another reason why we actually do this, because it means that you're not just reliant on me creating a tile for you. You're going to create something that you wanted to do. It's out of your head. So yeah, so I try and give you a few bits and pieces, but I think it's nice just to make you think a little bit. Oh, I'll put a dot in. Maybe even another one, look. There you go. Out the border again. Alright, like that. So, let's bring it round. I'm going to do something similar. So if I just pull it out a little bit. There we go. You see we've got that, the top there. I'm going to do something similar over here. So I'm going to start maybe where this is sort of got a bit of a space. And putting the line, the dot in. Oh, Chris, but that's a good thing. You have to think a little. I think you surprise yourself actually when you start to do this. And if you maybe you plan it out a little, but you don't fully sort of work it out and just see where it goes. Of course, you don't have to actually use that one. You could sort of draw one out in your sketch pad and think, does it work or not? And then go from there, really. It's nice, look how it just sort of follows around. So we'll do something sort of similar on these ones as well. So here we go. Just a loop, line and a dot. Loop, line and a dot. See here, this looks a little bit sort of, starting to go maybe a touch creamy, but it's not actually. So let's have a, if you think of the colour of the tile on the back, it's maybe just that little bit coming through with, maybe I did put a bit of orange on. I just added a few colours that I liked. I didn't really worry about it. It's just a thought, I'll see what goes. I'm going to leave that one at 3 and do this one, and let's see where we've left at the end. So again, just adding these little loop shapes, little dots. And let's do one here. Around there. I think I'm going to do another one this side, a bit bigger. And yeah, let's bring one in there. Okay, like that. So, okay, let's see where we're going with this now. Sort of, it's always about having a look at your tile, seeing what space you've got and what you want to do with it. So we have got quite a little bit, a few bits and pieces here. So I think before I do anything else, I'm going to come in and then perhaps pick a little line here. That's go a bit larger. You know what's coming. Let's put a few of these in. Here we are. Okay. And I'm going to bring one sort of this side as well. See how they get smaller? Maybe a little loop on the end there just to hold it in place. So maybe, yeah, let's bring one in here and just sort of work it round that way. And then another one. Okay, so we're just doing that little aura round it, and each time it gets smaller. And of course you can add the extra stems or you can leave it. So decide where you sort of want them to be, and just let them go their own way. There we are. Okay. And same in this one. I'm going to bring one in here, sort of coming out that way. Maybe a curve there. Okay, so let's have a look at that. There we go. Alright, so at this point I'm going to just put in my border. So whether you want to use a straight edge again, or whether you want to come in freehand, or you might want to wobble it a little bit. So entirely up to you, but of course you're going to go underneath anything that sort of comes in its pathway. Same with this one here. So I'm going to see a little bit there. Just turn it round as you go, and of course don't forget to turn your tile. It's so much easier when you can do that. Of course I'm going to stop there and then sort of relax my hand and come back in and do the rest of it, because we don't want to be stressing our hand in any way, shape or form. You see any of those little bits that I don't need now? I'm coming and just kind of remove. So we've got this. It's lovely, isn't it? Especially that little pink. Love the colours of this sort of purpley pink here. So, all right. I'm going to now create. Let's have a look now. Do I want to do an aura or not? No, I'm not going to do an aura for this. What I am going to do is I'm going to fill this space here with little swirls. I'm going to take my time, and I think what I'll do, I'll just do a smaller one there, see, just so it looks like it's petering out the way. Oh, that's good, Sheila. It's nice to have quite a few at times. I know sometimes we may just do one or two, but now and again it's nice to do a little bit of a busy one, isn't it? And just sort of see, it's like having a taster of lots of different tangles just to see which ones you like. And of course, if you think, oh, it's not my favourite, that's fine. You're only getting to do a little bit of each one, so and it works well. See, just creating these little swirls as we go. And maybe so you can have one hiding in the back there. And just sort of fill in the space as I go. And of course I've got space there as well, so maybe one there. But again, just sort of let that peter off. I'm not going to go right up into that curve. So same sort of thing here really. But again, if you wanted to do an aura and create a shape around your shapes first, you could have done that. But I'm just going to go straight in and do it. And then again, you can do these as large, as small as you want. So you could have one that would cover the whole thing if you like. But I like smaller ones. I think it's nice. It keeps it consistent, doesn't it? And we've got that extra detail there. Oh, so yeah, you see here I've got space, so I can do more of those swirls. But I could actually even bring in another of those auras. See, just following around that shape a little bit. Let's maybe come around this one. And then, you see, sort of make my own. And then I can put that grid back in. You see, if there's something that you want to use, if you want to change the space a little bit, don't think you can't. Rose, yes it is. This is the pink, but I've inked it up a bit, so I've got a few extra colours in there. I've just let it dry naturally, and I didn't use any salt today. I've just inked. Added some sort of water brush pen on a decent surface, you know, like a bag or a glass mat. Spritzed it, and then, well, it was nice and wet. I've just pushed my tile into it, lifted it up, and then just let it dry naturally. Now, it's very nature when you ink, when you put like wet ink on it, it's going to bend upwards. So my advice is just leave it, let it do its thing, let it dry, and it'll go back. But of course, if you find you've got a puddle of ink or water that sort of rests at the bottom of the tile, just use a dry tissue and just soak that little bit of water up, and that'll be fine. But again, if you want a bit more of a texture, you can add just regular table salt, just spritz it on in places, and it'll soak up the water and take the colour out. So that works really well. I do love doing that. But I thought I'd just have a change today. Oh, Angela, just try it, honestly. And when you think about it, once you've added the ink and it's dried, you're actually going over it with a pen anyway. So it's going to just all vanish into the background. But I must warn you, it does get a bit addictive, because you know, you start to think, well, what if I mix this colour and this colour? And again, don't be afraid to try a black ink, you know, in the background. That looks quite nice. You know, if you've got a bright white tile, and then use maybe just black or grey, and see how that looks. Then you could actually add a pop of colour onto it as well with a gel pen maybe later. It's really interesting once you start to add some in and see where it leads, because it's sort of out of your control, isn't it? Yeah. And then, see, I'm just going to fill in a few around there. I know I've got those little stems and things, but that's fine. And then, of course, just sort of finishing it off here. Just working that little shape there. Alright, okay, let's have a look at it. Oh, absolutely. Let's have a look. Okay. Alright, so let's see what we've got in terms of a bit of shadow now. I'm going to bring my pencil in. And the first thing I'm going to do is, there we go, start with these leaves. I'm not going to do too much on these because I want to try and keep that lovely shadowy effect there. So I'm just going to come around here where one's going underneath the other. And the same there. And again, I think I'm going to use my tortilla and soften it out as we go. Let's see what it's going to look like. See, a very, very gentle application there. I'm not going to do too much. And then the same on this side. And I think, because you've already got ink on the tile, it doesn't seem so scary putting that first pen stroke on, does it? Okay, so I'm not going to touch that one at all, because I like it as it is. Okay, what about this bit? I'm going to bring some down the side, and I'm going to do the same with those little flowers. There we go. You won't get to see much there, but that's fine, I know it's there. And then down the side and the same here. Okay, so let's just sort of soften those edges as well. Same on this one. Can you believe this is 208 that we're doing? 208 tiles. That's absolutely amazing, isn't it? I think. Oh, sometimes we don't miss one really, but sometimes we might get a little bit behind, but it's lovely coming back, isn't it, and catching up with them. There we go. I'm going to go back to pencil, and these little flowers, I'm just going to add some pencil on the inside there, just sort of at the base or the bottom edge of those petals. There we go. And again, just tortillon, I'm just going to, like a little zigzaggy motion almost. Real close satin stitch. Just soften the edges there. I don't want to completely cover the petals themselves. And Julie, I know, I was only going to do 12. Look where we are. I just got addicted. Okay. So again, let's sort of look at these larger pieces. I'm going to just bring a little bit of a shape there, just onto those. Okay. Now see where we've got these, they're very small, so I think I'm actually going to leave them. I think I'm going to just, choose what I actually add graphite to today, or else it could end up being a bit too heavy. We don't want that. So let's just sort of see what we think when we've done this. I could always change my mind and go back and add it. I think I'm going to do the most prominent parts first. It's just so enjoyable, isn't it? And it's just lovely to do. It's it just sort of passes the time, but they're so lovely. And you can't really describe always what they are, but they're just lovely. And you think, I did that. See, I'm just adding a little bit to the base of that little shapes there. And again, just gently working my way up, because I don't want to completely lose the pink of the highlight there at the top. Okay, I think I'll come back and I'm just going to add a bit of graphite to that little zinger there. Just going to very gently, see, hardly touching the paper, and just fading that out. Okay, same with these. And of course, any little ziggers on the way you want a line. So, it depends on your paper, of course. If you think that you're having trouble blending, it could be your paper, it could be your pencil. But if you perhaps try a lighter approach and maybe add a couple of layers rather than try and do it all in one go, that might help. Of course, it's easier to blend something if it's a bit lighter. If it doesn't travel across the paper, then maybe it's your paper. Alright, so there we go. I'm just going to soften that a little bit. And just sort of touch these around. You see, it's just going its own way. Just trying to keep it nice and soft if you can. Just ease it off towards the end. Okay, so that's sort of little bits and pieces done. I'm just going to do this. Now I want to just address the background, because we've got these sort of shapes here, so I'm just going to come around sort of and just do an edge on those swirls. See? And then just turn my tile, and I'm going to do the same. Not worrying about what's underneath, not trying to do each individual swirl, just doing an outline. Same same. See, even though that one's a little one, it doesn't matter. Just still gonna do it. And then round to this one. And just sort of making my way around the tile. And just see there, I'm gonna ease it off around that section because I didn't go all the way in. And then just a tiny little bit. And there. So again, back in with the tortilla. Just sort of going to soften with little swirls. Just going to push that into the corner there. And I'm going to try and leave a little bit in the middle if I can. They're a little too small to do that. But it's just about, you know, just leaving a little bit of that highlight if you can. Of course, it's easier in those larger spots. But, you know, just follow the routine anyway. Just go around the edges. See if you get any left. Okay. And next bit. Just gonna work my way around these edges here. And then I think we'll have a look at it. Okay. This is quite a lot of graphite on there, and we've still left some little bits in the background. But sometimes it's nice to just leave it and not try and overdo it. But we certainly want to just try and keep it a little bit pale if we can in that sense. So let's bring a bit of white pencil in. And let's have a look at where we can add some of this. So the first thing we're going to do, let's just lift that a little bit. I'm just going to add a white line straight down the middle of those two shapes there. Not going to blend that, nothing like that, but just going to go straight down. Same with the flowers. And, there we go. I knew there was a third one. Didn't want to miss it. Okay. So let's just add just a touch on the top here. You know, just to highlight the fact that very definitely the front there, and then only a little bit because I don't want to lose those lovely sort of blended colours there. And a little bit sort of on these little shapes. We just want a little bit of a highlight if we can. And then of course, I'm going to just add a little bit to the tops of those. And again, this is about choosing what you want to stand out. You know, if we were to put highlights in every little bit and on every little thing, then maybe we'd sort of lose the depth that we're trying to create. So we make our decisions and we just choose those bits we want to add a little bit to. I think just sort of opposite side of these tortillons. And again, you notice that my pencil's not really sharp either. It doesn't need to be. And you don't want to be trying to sharpen it too much anyway, you know. Keep it relatively, you know, relatively level. Let's have a look at that and see what that's come out like. You see the difference with that white? It's lovely, isn't it? I think what I am going to do, I'm not going to touch any of these little shapes inside. I'm going to let them sit there. But what I am going to do is bring a little bit of a white edge to it. So again, not using a straight edge for this. I'm just coming in and applying a little bit all the way around. Maybe a touch you can see there. Nothing much there, but definitely that bit. And then here, see this sort of breaks up because it's quite dark in there. It just gives it something that says there is a bit of light. And I think I'm going to come in with a tortilla on there. This one's not as not as graphited up as the other. There we go. And I'm just going to very gently just sort of soften the edge. So I'm not really rubbing it in. I'm just sort of soften it. amazing, isn't it? Just that little bit of white. And again, just choosing where to put it. You don't want to do everything. And I know sometimes people say, where do you do it? And I don't know where to add it. Just do a little bit and look at what you've done, you know. Hold it at arm's length, just as we did in class. And think about where it's going to be and what you're going to do with it. So decision now is, here we go. It's where do you want to do it? Do you want to sort of start it with this at the bottom and it all goes up back? Rose, yeah, because if you spray and shine it, what'll happen, that white will disappear. It sort of soaks in, but let it dry and then just add a little bit to it again. And that'll do it. It comes back. So of course you could go in and you could add more, but I think actually I'm going to probably leave it at that point, because I think it's got, you know, it's got enough, and it's got that light and dark and a little bit of shadow. It's just where to sign it. I think I'm going to put it up here today. In there. Just adding that section. So yeah, Rose, you can spray it again afterwards. Just sort of take it, just do a test piece first. Try it on a tiny tile. Now I do have a different version. I've used the, this is like the blue grey out the sorbet pack. And I've not put as, obviously there's no inking in there and things like that. I've just done it quite plain. But a completely different view of it. So, you know, you've got some things that work the same, some things that have changed. But it's nice, isn't it, to see the two variations. So whether you want to, you know, ink a tile up and go with it like that, or whether you want to just do a nice sort of easy tile and not think about colour too much. See, I might come in and just, I'm not adding much white in there. Maybe a little bit in those areas. And it's amazing what, you know, changes it makes. But entirely up to you. So a little bit of notice on Friday's tile, if it's okay. I'm going to change the time to we'll go with the 7 o'clock in the evening. I've got a meeting on Friday morning, and I honestly don't know how long it's going to be and whether I'm going to be back on time. So rather than try and rush and we have to cancel it or anything like that, then I thought if we move it, that's probably going to work out better. And it might also be that I have a little bit of news based on you know, what changes are going to be made and things. So we'll wait and see. So I can fill you in on that on Friday and let you know what I've found out or what's going on. But in the meantime, you've got this one to do. So there we go. If I just take this one out now, we'll just look at this one. There's our tile for today. And as I say, I will see you hopefully on Friday, but it's going to be a 7 o'clock in the evening one, and we'll sit, and I'll sit at home and chill out with a tile and maybe a little glass of Prosecco, and we'll do the next one. So, okay, other than that, have a great day, everybody, and I will speak to you again on Friday, all being well. Okay, have fun. Bye.